D.C.'s public safety laws, with all House Republicans voting in favor of both pieces of legislation. Sunrise on the Hill's Tosin Fakile is live at the Capitol with reaction from civics groups and a D.C. senator. Tosin, they really weren't surprised, were they? They were kind of expecting this.
Yeah, Hillary, no surprise at all. In fact, D.C. Senator and Kit Jane tells me that House Republicans only put up the bills knowing that they had the votes to pass it, which they did yesterday just after 8 o'clock. And D.C. leaders and civic group tell me that D.C.'s Policing and Justice Reform Amendment Act was put in place to hold bad cops accountable and also kind of put in this process in place where they make sure that there's a discipline for those officers who choose to be a part of MPD. Now, the Policing and Justice Reform Amendment Act, it does a number of things, including preventing restraints like chokeholds and also improving access to body-worn camera videos, and added some civilian oversight. The bill to bring back cash bail, which is one of the ones they passed yesterday, it passed with 237 yes votes. Repealing the Policing and Justice Reform Amendment Act that passed with 233 votes in favor. Now, leadership with Harriet's Dreams tells me the Reform Act preserves the little piece of transparency that people have.
Rolling back and muddling police accountability and police reform. However, will we be able to hold these entities accountable when they cause some of the most egregious harms in our communities? So if people were really serious about tackling crime in any aspect, then they would go and resource those communities.
And the votes to overturn these D.C. public safety laws happened with some yes votes from Democrats. D.C. Senator Jane tells me he doesn't think Democratic House leadership did not whip the votes on these D.C. issues.
Elections are won and lost on this issue in Washington, D.C., and we know what's best for ourselves when we're trying to figure out what kind of policing policy should we have. I am disappointed with how House Democratic leadership has handled this issue. The good thing about the Senate is that we have the filibuster in the Senate.
Now, if you remember, this isn't the first time Congress has tried to overturn D.C.'s policing reform issues here. Back then, President Joe Biden had to overturn what was voted on. And this is not the end of it. Congress, still several bills in Congress tackling these issues that had to do with the district. These particular two that passed, they're headed to the Senate.
Tosin, does Harriet's Dreams or any other groups pushing back on these bills plan to take any action to try to stop them from going any further?
Yeah, they tell me they're not staying idle. Now their focus is on the Senate. They say they've been talking to senators, trying to make sure that they vote no once this bill gets to them. And it's not just them. Senator Kit Jane tells me for weeks he has been talking to his colleagues in the Senate, making sure that they know that these bills, if they pass, they are no good for the district.
All right, Tosin Fakile live into the Capitol for us this morning. Tosin,
Thank you, Tosin. Well, if you're headed out this morning,